Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in because we're going to take a close look at the Aya Neo 2S. I think it was 4 months ago that I've reviewed the previous model that came with the 6000 series, but now we're having the AMD Ryzen 7000 inside this machine. Absolutely nuts, because the previous model I was quite flabbergasted to see what we can actually play. For example, one of my favorite games, Tekken 7, could be played on high graphics and full HD mode. And for an handheld, that is just mind-blowing. And now with this new model, I'm going to expect to have more cool options. And that's what we're going to try out today. But first, let's do a quick unboxing together. What I did notice with Aya Neo, it has like a very nice premium feel. Not only the handheld, but also when it comes to everything you're going to get. No toilet paper manual whatsoever. We're just going to get very good explanations, also including one for the software itself, because we can do a lot of tweaking, a lot of very cool features, and some extra piece of paper explaining. Then of course we're going to get the device itself. The shell, it's similar to the previous model, and I don't really mind it, simply because this thing was absolutely awesome. Oh, by the way, in my studio here, it smells oh man, it smells like new stuff. I like it. But what I also like is the form factor of the handheld, because it's very comfortable, and I was very pleased with it with the previous model. In here we're going to get ourselves some extra stuff and the goodies that we're going to need for connecting and charging the device. Yep, everything have to be packed up in separate boxes. Oh man, let's get these things out. Then we're going to get ourselves the connection cable, the Type-C cable, and I think this is Type-C to Type-C. The next box we're going to find ourselves the charger. What I did like about this particular charger, we do have every single connection for every different region, but this is a very beefy charger. It comes even with 2 Type-C ports and 2 USB ports, so we can charge up a lot of things at the same time, and that is something that I really like. Okay, so here we're going to get, I think, all of the different regions. Having the Type-C to USB. These things are convenient. And here we're having some extra stuff that we're going to need if you want to implement some new things in the inside. Nevertheless, let's take a close look at it. No, it's not the one I'm searching for. Where's the European version? Where is that thing? There he is. This is the one I'm going to need. And then we're going to slide in. So this is basically a 100 watt fast charger, giving you the option to load different kind of wattage. What you can see over here, we're having the Type-C connection 1 gives 65. Then having the second one also has the option of 65 to 75. It's absolutely nuts. But shall we take a close look at the design and everything that they improved? Because 4 months ago I also reviewed the previous model with 6000 AMD NPU in the inside. Also, this one has absolutely like a fingerprint nightmare. The design, that is something I really liked about the previous model of the Aya Neo, and it's just these curves that you're going to get in the back plate. Everything made of very thick plastic, and the overall comfortability is very high with this one. So one of the things that I really liked are the shoulder buttons and the trigger buttons. They have a very nice curve to it when it comes to the analog triggers, and when you're actually going to play a racing game, what I do a lot on this thing, it is absolutely very comfortable to play for a long time. So they are reusing, in my opinion, the outer shell and just slapping some new hardware in it, but that's not a bad thing. First of all, we do have like the analog stick, the D-pad, the 4 tiny buttons. I have the mixed feeling with these. They feel absolutely great, but when it comes to let's say playing, same with the Nintendo Switch, I don't really like it, but when you're going to touch them, they have a very nice feedback. The joysticks they are using on this device are absolutely high quality and they play very comfortable. Also, when you're looking at the edges, they have some extra grip, and I must say they feel very comfortable and very nice. Something I really like about it, that we do have 2 connection Type-C at the top. It's very convenient if you want to plug in an external power source and at the same time some extended, let's say, storage capacity. Over here we're going to get a micro switch button for the LC and the RC. Then of course we're having the shoulder buttons, but for this they are just having the membrane buttons. Overall we're going to get volume control, the on and off switch over here. And let's power it on, and when it comes to the joystick we're going to get beautiful RGB lighting, or at least one nice color at the bottom. You can change it out if you want to. The D-pad they are going to get with this is a very tiny one, but the feel is very nice, but not one of my favorite D-pads I have ever seen before. Another feature I really liked about the Aya Neo is this crisp, clear, beautiful display they're going to give you in this 1080p resolution. and it's very difficult always to show you on the camera, but I can tell you it's absolutely flabbergasted. If you're going to play Sonic Mania, a very colorful game, you will see how great it actually is. Okay, so at the bottom we're going to get 2 speakers, and they sound absolutely amazing. Not very loud, they sound quite clear, and that's something I was very flabbergasted with this model. Then we're going to get ourselves the headphone jack out, and in here we're going to have the option to add an additional micro SD card for basically like adding some new storage, and then Type-C. So in total we're going to get ourselves 3 Type-C connections. I think that's pretty damn cool. When powering on the device itself, you're going to get into the AMD software. You're pressing the button, you can basically switch between it, and also give you the option to go into the extra menu. And with this we can switch between how much watt it's going to pull from the battery and how much power you're going to use. You can always play with it, especially when you're looking into the indie games. You need to power on the software, otherwise this extra option doesn't work. But from this point we can also check out what kind of game you want to play, or you can just go basically to Steam and use that way. So let's press this tiny button over here where we're going to switch between Steam and the AMD software. Let's close the software over here. Let's go to big picture mode. One of the awesome ways you can actually play. I really like it how this looks in the end. It's been some time ago that they adjusted the overlay. It's similar to the Steam Deck, so I'm getting some Steam Deck vibes over here. Nevertheless, what we can do is go into the library. I didn't install a lot of games because mine does only come with 512 GB of storage capacity. It's not great. In my opinion, you should have at least have 1 TB, but better is even 2 TB to have enough storage to play all the AAA games. I just wanted to check out a couple of them with you, for example with Dirt 5, because this is an absolutely great game to play and shows off how much power you have in this machine. For the specifications, I basically put everything on ultra low, but I just want to have the original 1920 by 1200 resolution, just to show you what is basically possible when it comes to the device itself. So let's get into the racing. And will not hit always 60 FPS, but it will do most of the time. What I've seen with previous models that we have messed around with it, the thing about the 6000 series that dips down a lot to 40, we have at least like 50 FPS. So we have, in my opinion, quite a smooth gameplay. You can always mess around with the resolution to get even a better overall result, but I think this is not bad at all. The combination with it, very nice triggers, good vibration, and amazing audio. You're going to have a great experience playing some racing games on here. With Street Fighter 6, we need to go all the way to 1280 by 720 and put every single specification to freaking low, medium, better set, the lowest setting you can get, to getting at least an okay frame rate. And Street Fighter 6 will be the benchmark basically. It's just released as making this video. And let's be honest, there is no room for like tweaking now. Everything has been set to low over here. What I've done when it comes to the TDP, we're going to put it on the highest 22 watt what I'm getting. It even go all the way to 25 watts, but you can see when it's going to be dipping down, we're not going to get ourselves a fable 60 FPS. And this is absolutely so Street Fighter 6. Unfortunate. In my opinion, just unplayable. Here we go again. The frames are coming back. The games I'm going to play a lot on these devices are just indie games. So the next thing that we're going to do is lower it all the way to 5 watts because this system is completely overpowered for this game. There we go. It will give us like an absolutely great battery life now. Way better than we're going to put, of course, on higher wattage. And here you can see the game runs just fine, even at 109. Oh, there we go, there we go. I just wanted to show you what happens while we're going to do this. But you can see it struggles. Let's put it all the way at 11 watts. Alright, next up I wanted to try some Tekken 7. Not a latest game, and I just wanted to show you do have a way better performance overall when it comes to some different games. So it's depending, of course, what are the specifications for the particular game. Tekken 7. It's a game that will run fine. We have a lot of tweaking room because it's set to full HD. Everything's set to high or ultra. Absolutely crazy. The thing that I need to do is switch to the higher settings to get some better performance. Completely messed it up there. Forgot to put it in the 22 watt. But here you can see it runs all the way up to the 60 FPS. And again, if you want even a better performance, you can maybe like tweak a couple of settings, setting it to medium to getting a little bit better overall performance. But if you don't see the FPS in the left corner, you will have no problem whatsoever with playing the game. Okay, so let's try some indie games, and one of the games I wanted to check out more is of course just a Handheld, where we're going to put them 5 watts, so it's not going to consume a lot of energy from the battery. And this runs perfectly, without any problem. You can play this game for quite a long time now. A little bit of bummer in my opinion, but nothing to do about it. The D-pad, I must say that I too sometimes need to like cramp up my hand to get in the right position. But while looking at some Street of Rage, absolutely great. And again, one of the many Steam games that I'm having on my system that I can install. It doesn't take up a lot of space and doesn't also take up a lot of battery life if you're going to put it on 5 or maybe 11 watts. So first off, with the emulation, so far I understand there is no limitation. Of course, depending on what kind of emulator you're running and how the compatibility is out with the games. But for example, with PlayStation Portable, if you're going to get a very good release, you're going to get amazing overall performance. And that's what we're going to get with these like newer chipsets. But also I think it was the 6000 that we had the option to even play PlayStation Portable on higher resolutions. Nevertheless, if you want to play some God of War, Chains of Kinkiness, you can finally do it without any mumbo jumbo or tweaking. You can just plug it and play it, and even like upscale it to higher resolutions. Okay, next up, PlayStation 2 emulators. We don't need to spend 600 on a PlayStation 2 portable devices with real hardware on the inside. Of course, basically this thing costs way more than PlayStation 2 portable, but we can also play more and even upscale it to higher resolutions, and it looks so much better. Comfortability is absolutely way better than those devices I've reviewed back in the day. And that is one of the positive things that we're going to get when it comes to the new generation of Windows x86 devices. So for the last quick test, I just want to showcase some PlayStation 3, and I must say that I found it very cool to play actually this on a portable device. Where we have PlayStation 2 portables with real hardware. Of course, we don't have this as making this video for PlayStation 3. So I think it is very awesome just to play these games on the go. But take consideration, it will draw out a lot of battery life simply because you need to put it on the higher setting. If you're going to be putting it lower, it's not going to be running that great. But take consideration there are different kind of games also when it comes to compatibility, and of course some games are more demanding than the other ones. I just wanted to quickly showcase. But when it comes to the battery life, I think in overall you're just going to get the same stuff that we've seen many times before. We do have like an okay battery life of a couple of hours if you're having not a lot of wattage drawn from the battery itself. But when you're going to push the device and going to play AAA titles, there we're going to get like a huge difference when it comes to the battery life. To the point I'm thinking, how portable is it still? And maybe you need to get yourself like an extra power bank, or maybe just plug this thing into the wall. It's so awesome to live in this time, simply because if you look at this, how far the technology has come, how much we can basically get out of a device nowadays. So many cool games to play, and for me it's absolutely one of the cool devices to play Steam indie games on it. But if you want to play a couple of AAA, that is even possible. Let me know in the comments what you think of this device. Well, thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, and it will be great to see you in the next video.